Ladies and gentlemen, there is a silent thief in your life right now, stealing your time, your dreams, your potential, and its name is laziness. It doesn't shout, it whispers, it tells you, do it later. It convinces you that comfort is peace when in truth it's poison. Every time you delay, you trade the life you want for the life you have. But if today you decide to move, to act, to rise, you can destroy that thief forever. The choice is simple: stay comfortable or become unstoppable. When you decide to end laziness, you're not just changing your habits, you're rewriting your destiny. Every action you take against laziness is a declaration that you refuse to live beneath your potential. Most people spend their lives trapped in cycles of hesitation and regret, not because they lack opportunity, but because they lack urgency. They keep waiting for a better time, not realizing that time itself is the only thing slipping away. You cannot wait for inspiration to strike before you act. Inspiration comes after you act. It's the spark that appears once you begin moving forward. Each day you delay, your dreams move one step further away. Laziness is not the absence of work, it's the decision to live passively. It's choosing comfort over challenge, distraction over purpose, and excuses over results. But the moment you recognize this, you regain control. You begin to see that the world doesn't owe you motivation. It offers you opportunity, and it's your duty to meet it with action. The person who learns to act without waiting for the perfect conditions becomes unstoppable. The human mind has an extraordinary ability to adapt. What feels difficult today can become effortless tomorrow if repeated often enough. The first time you push yourself to act when you don't feel like it, it hurts. It feels unnatural, but that discomfort is not punishment, it's progress. It's the old version of you resisting change, and if you push through that resistance, something remarkable happens. The mind begins to obey the body's movement instead of the body waiting for the mind's permission. You begin to discover that success is built on the smallest victories: waking up when you said you would, completing a task you didn't feel like doing, resisting the urge to waste another hour scrolling, watching, or waiting. Each of these moments, though small, builds strength. They may not be visible to others, but they are transforming you internally. You're wiring your brain for discipline. You're proving to yourself that you can act in spite of feelings. And the moment you can do that consistently, laziness loses its grip on you. There's a powerful truth most people overlook. Motion creates emotion. When you move, your energy rises. When you sit idle, your energy decays. The lazy person thinks they're tired because they've done too much, but often they're tired because they've done too little. The human body and mind are not designed for stagnation. They are designed for creation, exploration, and growth. The more you sit still, the more your energy drains away. But the moment you move, your spirit awakens. It's not energy you lack, it's movement. If you could see 10 years into the future, you'd understand that every day of laziness compounds. Each missed opportunity, each delayed task, each "I'll do it tomorrow" stacks up like invisible weight on your shoulders. And before long, that weight becomes too heavy to carry. But discipline also compounds. Every act of effort, every completed goal, every moment of focus builds momentum that can lift you higher than you ever imagined. The question is, which one are you compounding, discipline or delay? You must remind yourself that greatness doesn't come from occasional bursts of effort. It comes from consistent, deliberate action. The person who works with intensity once in a while will never match the one who works steadily every day. Laziness thrives on inconsistency. It feeds on the gap between your promises and your actions. But when you eliminate that gap, when your word and your work align, you become powerful. You no longer need motivation because you've built integrity with yourself. Think about how much time people waste seeking shortcuts. They search for quick results, easy answers, and instant gratification. But the truth is, nothing worthwhile is ever easy. The climb is what builds your strength. The struggle is what forges your identity. Laziness whispers that you can have success without effort, but that's a lie. You cannot cheat growth. You cannot bypass discipline. Every shortcut you take today becomes a setback tomorrow. The harder path is the only one that leads upward. To overcome laziness, you must build structure around your life. You must set standards for yourself that are higher than the world's expectations. You don't need someone watching you, motivating you, or forcing you to act. You must become your own authority. The disciplined person doesn't wait for someone else to hold them accountable. They hold themselves accountable. They treat every task, no matter how small, as a promise to themselves. And when you keep enough promises, confidence replaces doubt. Many people believe laziness is a sign of weakness, but in truth, it's a lack of clarity. When you know exactly what you want, laziness can't survive. Clarity creates energy. The clearer your goals, the more driven your actions become. Write down what you want. Define it in detail. Then break it into small, achievable steps. Each time you complete one, reward yourself with the satisfaction of progress, not by resting in comfort, but by knowing you're one step closer to your vision. Every day, millions of people wake up with the same thought, I should do more, but only a few act on it. The difference between them is not ability, it's decision. You end laziness the moment you stop negotiating with yourself. You stop asking, should I? And start saying, I will. When you eliminate hesitation, you eliminate weakness. The lazy mind is full of options. The disciplined mind has only one action. There will be days when the weight of effort feels unbearable, when your mind screams for rest, and your body resists movement. Those are the days that define you, because anyone can act when it's easy, but champions act when it's hard. The people who rise above mediocrity are the ones who refuse to let feelings dictate their future. They understand that effort is temporary, but pride lasts forever. Every drop of sweat, every late night, every early morning becomes part of your story, a story that laziness could never write. If you ever feel tempted to give in, look around. The world is filled with examples of what happens when laziness wins. Dreams abandoned, talents wasted, potential never realized. But it's also filled with examples of what happens when effort wins. Lives transformed, legacies built, greatness achieved. The difference between those two outcomes is not luck. It's a decision repeated daily, to rise, to move, to do what must be done. The secret is to build momentum and never let it die. Once you start, protect that energy like it's gold. Each day, feed it with progress. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for consistency. Even on your worst days, do something. Read one page, take one step, make one move, because action, no matter how small, keeps the fire alive. The moment you stop, the moment you surrender to laziness, that fire begins to fade. You have one life, one chance to see what you can truly become. Don't waste it by choosing ease over excellence. You were not born to drift. You were born to drive. Every second you sit idle, life moves on without you. The world keeps spinning, opportunities keep passing, and someone else somewhere is putting in the work you avoided. Don't let that person outwork you. Don't let laziness steal what was meant to be yours. You must understand that the mind is not your master, it's your servant. You can command it to act, to focus, to move, and the more you do, the stronger your control becomes. At first it resists, then it obeys, then it serves. That is how you transform laziness into power. You take the same energy once wasted in procrastination and redirect it into creation. You replace hesitation with execution. You stop waiting for motivation and become the source of it. Every time you act in defiance of laziness, you rewrite your identity. You're no longer the person who waits, you're the person who does. You're no longer the one who hopes, you're the one who creates. Action builds momentum, and momentum builds character, and character, once formed, will carry you through every challenge life throws your way. Remember, there is no such thing as standing still. You are either growing or decaying, rising or falling. Laziness is decay in disguise. It feels like rest, but it's slow destruction. Discipline, on the other hand, feels like struggle, but it's silent construction. Each day you act, you're building something within yourself: strength, resilience, pride. So when you feel that familiar pull of comfort, remind yourself that the pain of effort lasts minutes, but the pain of regret lasts a lifetime. The choice to act today will echo in your future. The world belongs to those who move, not those who wait. Every second you waste is gone forever, but every second you use wisely becomes part of the foundation of your success. You cannot escape the demands of life. You can only decide who will pay the price: the present you through effort, or the future you through regret. One will build you, the other will break you. Choose movement, choose progress, choose to end laziness every single day until action becomes as natural as breathing, because once it does, nothing can stop you. There comes a moment when you must confront yourself with absolute honesty. You must look within and admit how many times you have allowed laziness to win, how many dreams you have postponed in the name of comfort, how many promises to yourself have gone unfulfilled. This isn't to make you feel guilty, it's to awaken you. Because until you face the truth, you cannot change it. The person you see in the mirror today is not a result of one big decision, but of countless small choices made every day. Choices between effort and ease, between discipline and delay. The good news is that you can begin again right now. You can decide this very moment that laziness will no longer dictate the direction of your life. Laziness whispers the language of safety, but it's an illusion. It tells you that rest is peace, that stillness is control, that waiting is wise. But in truth, every time you choose the easier path, you trade strength for weakness, potential for mediocrity. You may not see it immediately, but the effect is cumulative. Day by day, your capacity shrinks, your willpower weakens, your fire fades. Yet the opposite is also true. The moment you begin moving, the moment you choose to act in spite of resistance, that same compounding power begins to work for you instead of against you. Action builds momentum, and momentum builds destiny. The difference between a person who lives fully and one who merely exists is their relationship with effort. One sees it as a burden, the other sees it as a gift. The disciplined individual doesn't run from work. They run toward it because they understand that within effort lies evolution. They know that every challenge overcome adds a new layer of strength. Laziness, on the other hand, seeks to avoid discomfort and ends up building walls around the very potential it fears to express. Those walls are invisible, but they're real. They keep you trapped in the same patterns, the same routines, the same small version of yourself. To break them, you must embrace discomfort as your greatest ally. Every time you take a step forward when your body says stop, every time you persist when your mind says quit, you are rewriting the story of who you are. You are proving that you can command yourself, that you are the master, not the servant. Most people live as slaves to their impulses, obeying every emotion that arises. They stop when they're tired. They work only when they feel inspired. But the path of greatness is walked by those who act whether they feel like it or not. They do what must be done, not what is convenient. That is the essence of freedom. Not the freedom to do less, but the freedom to do what is required. To end laziness, you must first understand its origin. It doesn't begin with the body, it begins with thought, the thought that says I can rest a little longer. The thought that says it won't matter if I skip today. These thoughts seem harmless, but they are seeds. And every seed grows into a habit. When you entertain those thoughts, you're watering the very thing that holds you back. But you can reverse it. You can plant new thoughts. I'll start now. I'll finish what I began. I'll prove to myself that I can. Feed those thoughts daily, and you'll grow an entirely different life. The most powerful force in your life is repetition. Whatever you repeat becomes who you are. If you repeat hesitation, you become hesitant. If you repeat excuses, you become the kind of person who always has one ready. But if you repeat action, even small action, you become unstoppable. You don't need to change everything overnight. You just need to start. Do the small task in front of you, do it well, then do the next one, and soon you'll look back and realize how far you've come. Laziness is not defeated in a single day, it's defeated moment by moment. Each time you choose to move forward, you're winning a silent war. You're reclaiming control over your mind. The mind is like a muscle, it strengthens with use and weakens with neglect. Every disciplined act adds power to it. Every lazy act takes power away. When you understand this, every decision becomes meaningful. Even something as simple as getting up when you said you would becomes an act of transformation. Many people wait for passion to strike before they act, but passion is not a prerequisite, it's a product. It's born from effort. The more you engage with your work, the more passion grows. The lazy person waits for feeling. The disciplined person creates it. This is why so many never start. They're waiting for a spark that only exists on the other side of motion. You cannot think your way into action. You must act your way into thinking differently. The body leads and the mind follows. There's a saying that the path to success is uphill all the way. That's true not because life is unfair, but because growth demands resistance. Just as a muscle grows by lifting weight, your character grows by lifting responsibility. Laziness avoids that weight, but in doing so, it also avoids strength. Every challenge you dodge becomes a missed opportunity for growth. You must carry the load willingly, because the weight you bear today becomes the power you wield tomorrow. If you want to end laziness, build systems that make success inevitable. Structure your days so that discipline becomes automatic. Surround yourself with reminders of who you want to be, not who you used to be. Keep your environment clean, your goals visible, and your standards high. Laziness thrives in chaos, it feeds on disorder. But clarity and structure kill it. When your path is clear, you no longer waste energy deciding whether to act. You simply act. Understand that laziness is not always about doing nothing. Sometimes it's disguised as busyness without purpose, scrolling endlessly, doing minor tasks to avoid major ones, planning but never executing. True productivity is not about motion, it's about progress. Ask yourself daily, am I moving closer to my goals, or am I simply avoiding discomfort? That question, asked honestly, can change your life. Discipline and freedom may seem like opposites, but they are inseparable. Laziness promises freedom but delivers regret. Discipline demands effort but delivers fulfillment. The lazy person is chained to their desires, while the disciplined person is liberated by their choices. The difference is not in what they feel, but in what they decide. Everyone feels the pull of laziness, not everyone answers it. When you master discipline, you unlock a deeper kind of peace, a peace born not from rest, but from progress. Knowing that you did what needed to be done gives you a sense of pride no comfort can replace. That's the true reward of effort, not applause, not recognition, but self-respect. The knowledge that you are reliable to yourself. That when you set a goal, you follow through. That no matter what comes, you will not betray your own word. The world outside may test you. Distractions will tempt you, doubt will whisper, but if your commitment to growth is stronger than your desire for ease, nothing can stop you. The storms will come, but you'll have built an anchor within yourself, a foundation of action, consistency, and strength. You'll rise not because life is easy, but because you've trained yourself to move forward even when it's hard. Think of how different your life could be 1 year from now if you simply acted each day with purpose, not in grand gestures but in steady motion. A page written, a workout completed, a plan executed. Tiny victories accumulating, shaping a future that laziness could never touch. Imagine the pride you would feel waking each morning, knowing you're becoming the kind of person others only talk about becoming. That power lies within your hands, within your decisions, within your willingness to act. Every moment of resistance is a test of will. When your mind says, later, answer now. When it says, I'm tired, reply, I'm capable. When it says, it's too much, remind yourself that it's only too much for the person you were, not for the person you're becoming. That inner dialogue determines everything. Speak strength into yourself until your actions reflect it. There's a fire that burns inside every human being, a fire of potential, creativity, and purpose. Laziness is the ash that covers it, dimming its light. But one decision, one act of courage can ignite it again. Every time you push yourself beyond comfort, that fire grows. It illuminates your path, inspires others, and reminds you of what it means to truly live. The world doesn't need more dreamers who wait. It needs doers who act. And once you choose to act, laziness ceases to exist. You have within you everything necessary to rise above every excuse, every hesitation, every moment of weakness. You were not designed for mediocrity. You were built for mastery. The time to begin is not tomorrow, not someday, but now, because now is all you ever truly have, and the way you use it will define who you become. The decision to move forward is yours, and with it the power to end laziness forever. There is a strange truth about laziness. It always disguises itself as something else. It rarely calls itself by name. Instead, it hides behind words like rest, balance, or waiting for the right time. It convinces you that pausing is necessary, that you're protecting your peace, that you're simply being realistic. But deep down, you know the difference between rest and avoidance. True rest restores you, avoidance drains you. When you rest with purpose, you feel renewed. When you avoid with excuse, you feel guilt. That quiet, nagging voice inside, the one that whispers you could do more, that's not pressure, it's potential trying to reach you. The greatest tragedy is not failure, it's unfulfilled capability. A person can recover from mistakes, from rejection, from defeat. But there's no recovery from the life you never dared to live. Laziness slowly builds invisible chains around your dreams until you can no longer tell whether you've chosen comfort or it has chosen you. The only way to break those chains is to move. Action is the antidote to stagnation. Every time you move forward, even if only by an inch, you chip away at the walls built by delay. The mind is a master of justification. It can rationalize any form of inaction. It can tell you that you're not ready, that you're too tired, that you'll start fresh next week. But time doesn't pause to give you fresh starts. It keeps flowing, indifferent to your hesitation. And every day you wait, your desire weakens, your momentum fades, and your belief in yourself erodes. The cruel thing about laziness is that it doesn't announce its cost immediately. It takes from you silently, little by little, until one day you look back and realize how much it has stolen. There is a power that awakens when you stop listening to that voice of delay. It happens the moment you act without negotiation, the moment you rise before your mind can argue, the moment you begin the task before your doubts can speak. That's the moment you reclaim control. because laziness doesn't live in the body. It lives in hesitation. Once you move, it loses its power. Movement destroys resistance. That's why the first step always feels the hardest. It's the step that breaks the chain. The people who seem unstoppable in life aren't born with endless motivation. They've simply mastered the art of starting. They've trained themselves to act before excuses can appear. They understand that effort feeds energy while idleness consumes it. The more you move, the more alive you feel. The more you sit still, the more life drains out of you. Your energy is not lost, it's locked behind inaction. And once you unlock it with consistent movement, your entire world begins to expand. To end laziness, you must develop respect for your own time. Every minute you waste is a minute of your life you will never get back. Imagine your time as currency. Would you spend it carelessly on things that give you nothing in return? Yet that's exactly what happens when you indulge in laziness. You pay with your future for a few moments of ease. The wise understand that time is more valuable than money because you can earn back money but not minutes. Every hour of disciplined work compounds into something greater: skills, progress, fulfillment. Every hour of laziness compounds into regret. The world is full of people who could have been great, people who had talent, passion, ideas, but not consistency. They let comfort distract them, fear stop them, and laziness delay them. They told themselves they would start when life became easier, not realizing that life only becomes easier when you start. The path of effort may seem hard at first, but it's the only one that leads upward. The path of laziness may seem soft, but it's downhill all the way. Laziness thrives in confusion. When you don't know where you're going, doing nothing feels harmless. That's why clarity is your greatest weapon. Set a goal so clear it becomes impossible to ignore. Write it down, visualize it, and keep it in front of you daily. When you know what you're chasing, every excuse loses power. Your mind can't trick you into delay when you have a vision stronger than your comfort. The clearer your direction, the weaker laziness becomes. Every day is a battlefield between who you are and who you could be. On one side stands the voice of comfort, whispering, "You've done enough." On the other stands the voice of purpose, reminding you there's more inside you. The outcome of that battle depends on one thing: the decision you make in that moment. The person who wins chooses purpose, even when tired, even when unmotivated, even when uncertain. They understand that the cost of effort is temporary, but the cost of regret is eternal. There's a quiet kind of suffering that comes from laziness, the pain of knowing you're capable of more but not living it. You can hide it from the world, but you can't hide it from yourself. It shows up in your restlessness, in your dissatisfaction, in that dull ache that asks, "Is this all there is?" That pain is not punishment, it's guidance. It's your potential begging for expression. Listen to it. Use it. Let it push you to act before it's too late. The most disciplined people are not the ones who never feel lazy. They're the ones who act despite it. They don't deny the temptation. They simply don't submit to it. Every time you resist laziness, you strengthen your will. Every time you surrender, you weaken it. Your willpower is a muscle. It grows through resistance. The more you push against comfort, the easier it becomes to keep pushing. Soon, what once felt impossible becomes effortless, because you've trained yourself to move without permission from your feelings. The world is filled with distractions: screens, entertainment, noise. They exist to keep you passive, to keep you watching instead of doing, scrolling instead of building. Laziness thrives in distraction. If you want to rise, you must learn to disconnect from the things that drain you and reconnect to the things that grow you. Use your time to create, not consume. because every minute you spend feeding your mind junk is a minute stolen from your potential. There's something deeply powerful about doing hard things consistently. Each challenge you conquer, no matter how small, rewires your mind to believe in your own strength. That belief becomes unstoppable. You begin to see effort not as punishment, but as privilege. The lazy person sees work as suffering. The disciplined person sees it as transformation. The difference lies in perspective. Work doesn't drain you, resistance to work does. When you embrace effort fully, energy flows through you instead of against you. At some point, you must decide whether you want to live a life of comfort or a life of consequence. You cannot have both. Comfort will keep you safe, unnoticed, unfulfilled. Consequence will test you, challenge you, and elevate you. Every person who ever achieved something meaningful chose consequence over comfort. They accepted temporary hardship for permanent growth. You must decide the same. When you wake up each morning, there's a small window of decision, the moment between sleep and awareness. That's where the battle begins. Laziness will tell you to lie back, to take 5 more minutes, to wait until you feel ready. But readiness is a myth. It never arrives. Action creates readiness. So when that moment comes, move. Don't think. Don't negotiate. Move. The first decision of the day sets the tone for the rest of it. Begin strong, and the rest follows. If you ever doubt your strength, remember this. Every human being who has ever achieved anything extraordinary began as ordinary. The difference was not intelligence, resources, or luck. It was relentless action. They learned that success doesn't come from doing a lot once. It comes from doing a little every day without fail. They trained their minds to show up regardless of emotion. That is how laziness dies. Not in one grand battle, but in 1,000 small victories. The only way to destroy laziness permanently is to replace it with purpose. Find something you believe in deeply enough that inaction feels unbearable. When your goal means more to you than your comfort, you'll never need to force yourself to act. Purpose turns discipline into devotion. It transforms effort into joy. When you have a reason strong enough, laziness cannot survive. You have all the strength you need already within you. It's been there since the beginning, waiting to be activated. Every act of effort, every choice to move forward, every step taken in defiance of laziness brings you closer to unlocking that strength. You are not weak, you are untested, you are not tired, you are untapped. The energy you seek lies dormant beneath hesitation, waiting for you to begin. And once you begin, nothing can return you to who you were before.